Welcome to the Charisma Blueprint podcast. My name is Surabhi and I am a life and style coach with a mission to help you become the best version of yourself from the inside and out. In this podcast, we have fun and interesting conversations with fun and interesting people. But before I dive right into this conversation, I am so excited to announce that I'm opening spots for group coaching starting September, and I am taking 5 clients where we would be working bi-weekly together on our dreams and goals and step into the best version of ourselves. If this interests you, you can apply with the link in the bio, and I am excited to work with you. In today's episode, I'm so excited to interview Evelyn McAleer, who is a podcaster, author, Spanish retreat facilitator, and a very powerful coach. She's going to guide us on some hidden secrets of manifestation and how we can attract our dreams and goals effortlessly. I'm so excited for this conversation, and I hope this conversation adds value into your life today. Hi, Evelyn. It is so nice to have you today on the show, and I'm so excited to see and to learn from you in this podcast today, and just to see how our viewers can benefit from all the knowledge that you have about coaching, about hosting retreats, as well as moving to another country. It just sounds very interesting to me. And I would like to start by asking you a question about how is it that you started this journey of becoming such a powerful coach and empowering people around the world?
Thank you so much, Surabhi, for having me. Those are lovely words, a powerful coach and having a knock-on effect to others. I feel that perhaps that's what got me started into the coaching route and why I work with people and help them, because we all have an influence, and my ethos, or one of my biggest values, is to make a difference to people's lives for the better, I hope. So I have been a coach from about 2016, and like everything, it evolves. Everything evolves. How we start, and even websites, things like that change because we change. We keep changing, we keep learning more. And so from doing the coaching, I also published 3 books: A Life You Want, Effortless, and The Woman's Journey. And strangely enough, once I got the first one done, the other 2 were very effortless, as the second book is called, to do. Again, moving on from that, I thought, what else will I do now? So it's like, what else can I do? Because I get bored if I'm stagnant. I am a creative being. I love to be creative. I love to come up with ideas. And I think anyone that's doing, coaching or spiritual work, and I think creativity is just, it's a natural thing that is within us. And I think it needs to be explored also. So I suppose after I had written the 3 books, I thought, well, that'll do me for now. So I started my own podcast channel, Effortless Attraction, the year following the 3rd book. And also then from there, I got married and I moved from Ireland out to Spain. And sure, when I'm in Spain, I thought, sure, what will I do when I'm here? So I have all my work online, also my clients, anyone that I coach and my group coaching, but I also facilitate retreats out here in Andalusia in Spain. And yeah, it seems to be within such a short space of time that all of these things have just happened. And they've happened with ease. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, there's fear involved. Of course, there's the what if. And you can easily feed into other people's fear. How could you? What will happen if? But I think if you're true to yourself and why you choose to be a coach in any work that we do, whether you're a baker, whether you're a teacher, whatever it is that you do, always be the end result of that which you speak about. I remember hearing those words and it stuck to me. Be the end result of that which you speak about, because at the end of the day, you're your product. Previously, also, I was a dance instructor in Ireland, so a dance fitness instructor. So it's always be the end result of that what you speak about in anything. And I think that keeps you right. Siri. So hopefully that answered that bit of the question.
I love that. I love that because it's so much about us embodying what we are also working with in our coaching sessions with our clients, and us really embodying those practices so that we can be the end result. So I really like that about your journey, and also that you are really embodying what you're teaching. But one thing which I found very interesting in what you said was that it all came with ease. So would you have any advice for anybody who's watching this to how to release control in a way that it comes with ease? You are doing the steps, you are taking action, but you're not controlling every outcome.
I'm a huge believer. And listen, when I talk about beliefs, everyone's belief is real to them. So I believe 100% in what I call law of attraction or manifestation. That's what kind of got me hooked. Is this real? I went in search of many things or answers, and I looked into religion, I looked into quantum physics, and all the jigsaw pieces were fitting together. And I thought at the end of the day, when delving into all of these things, everybody's saying the same message, just in different ways. So from that, I concluded, so if my thoughts, if I think the thought, it creates a feeling. That feeling, it creates an energy within me. So I'm transmitting that, I'm putting that out there, but I also have to take action. I also have to say, look, I have to do my bit here. So when you ask about releasing control, there's that thing called trust. I don't have to do it all by myself. And the magic is when you have no idea how. I mean, where I'm at now, I mean, if somebody said, how is that going to happen? I don't know. But what I do know is I know what steps I can take to prepare for it showing up. So that's how it's to let go of control. It's difficult because you're like, it should happen by now. You know, I'm ready. So it's that thing called trust. And honestly, it's when you're not wanting something, that's when it happens. But you're prepared for it. Most of the things, I could talk about this subject, sorry, all day, and I'm going to stop shortly, but everything that I've put intention to, thought to, word to, created it in my mind's eye, shared it with my husband now, everything has manifested. And people say, how did that happen for you? How did you get that? How did these things happen? And it just does. It just does. So that's what my book's are about. That's what I try and assist people with. If we can change our thought, and it's being mindful of the thoughts, words are extremely powerful. So those are the things that we can control. I'm not in control of the questions you're going to ask me here today, but I'm certainly in control of my response. So that's how I think just to control. And another big thing is to let go of control of others, how others are an expectation, how they should speak, walk, talk, act towards you, letting go of control of the environment, letting go of control of what's wrong with the world. But I have control. What can I do to make this a better place?
I absolutely love that because you mentioned that you can always take actions to prepare yourself for it to come into your life. And it happens when you least expect it. It happens when you don't really want it at that point. And I find that very interesting because even in my life, I have seen this happen as well. I also very strongly believe in manifestation and working towards what you want to get because, yes, whatever you're thinking, feeling, and whatever way you're showing up is going to manifest. So I find that very beautiful. But what about the times when we are taking all the correct steps? We know what we want. We are thinking positive thoughts, but it is still not showing up. What about those moments where you really want to give up? How is it that we can get ourselves back into the present moment and still keep going when the outcome is not showing up?
Well, for me, it's the difference between our ego, our mind taking control of us, and that other wee bit of us that I call our divine being, our energy. Whatever you feed the most will prevail the most in your life. I think if things aren't to be, that wasn't for me. I don't know why it didn't, because I feel it should have happened. But it becomes clear and you think, if we take a look back in our lives and the heartache that people went through. A relationship ended. They got resigned from their job and they thought it was the worst time ever in their life. Why did this happen to me? And if we take a look back now, and providing we have come through this with a good mindset and an outlook, are we not blessed? Thank you for that taking place in my life. Thank you for that happening. We cannot see it at the time, but it was a blessing, because only the things happened in my past, I wouldn't be here today. Some of them were great, some of them weren't so great. But it took in order for that to be here, for these things to happen in my life. So I understand what you're saying. We get impatient and we worry and we panic and we get overwhelmed. I really wanted this to happen. But that is yes, we're looking to control. The mind is looking to control. We're looking this to take place. I would also go back and ask, hold on, what is the underlying belief? I would search to the subconscious also of the person. What are you attracting? Because many a person comes to me coaching and perhaps they've had a stream of not so pleasant relationships. They keep attracting the same type of male or female into their lives. And they believe it's the other person's fault. Why is these things happening to me? They do. But we have to take a look at ourselves. What do I need to change? What is showing up in my life? If the same thing is happening over and over again, this is when we have to take responsibility. What do I need to change? So if we revert it back to ourselves every time, we step away from the ego and we choose to take responsibility. Maybe I have to change. Maybe I am in lack. Maybe the things from the past is saying to me, look, Evelyn, you can only go so far, but you can't do any more. Maybe my mindset from the past could be, you might have money, but you'll have none next week. You know, those things are deeply ingrained within ourselves. And so I just say, just keep going back to yourself. What do I need to change?
I love that. That is so true, because in that moment, you're completely letting go of all the external things. And you're bringing yourself back to what you can do to change the situation. You're also acknowledging all the things that didn't work out. And they didn't work out because there was another different divine plan that was there, so that you can fulfill what you came here to fulfill. So I absolutely love that. And with that, I would like to ask, what are some of the challenges that you faced in your life which made you embrace them and really acknowledge them and go for your path?
Oh, there's been many personal ones. I don't think I'll delve into it too much on the podcast here. Yeah, I've had challenges. I've had financial challenges, and I sometimes, and I look in when I see other people and think I've been in a similar situation. What has made me different than them? Not to say that I'm a better person. What has made me different when I didn't have money, but I wanted to invest in myself? I went and got it. And you know yourself, when you're going down the route of becoming a life coach, when you're investing in a business mentor, it costs money. When you're buying equipment for your business to go self-employed, all of those things cost money. So I borrowed money and I said, but I know I'm going to pay this back. I know I'm invested in my business. And I know that, so there was no fear. There was kind of, but not fear, but there was drive. And I think that's what divides, perhaps when I look at other people and see similar circumstances. Drive, determination. I'm going to make this work. This is going to happen. As a single parent of 3 kids myself, you know, I went self-employed. I worked my life around my children. I created my business for being the dance instructor. I went around schools. I had my own studio. I created that life to accommodate my children. So I know those fears of, gosh, is there going to be money coming in this week? And we've got, you know, things like that. But it makes you a more stronger person also of learning new things, especially if you're self-employed. People say, oh, I'm no good with technology. I embrace that. I love learning. I love doing video. I love doing editing. I love learning about those things. I suppose that's the creative side in that. We also had, I suppose, that time of COVID, and my father passed away at that stage as well. So there was a huge, big challenge, and especially in Ireland, when we're used to people coming to our homes for wakes, for funerals, and that was all prohibited at that stage. I had a choice at that stage to break and to crumble, or what can I see different? How can I move on from this? And not to disacknowledge, I suppose, the passing of my father. But my third book was coming out at that stage, The Woman's Journey. And I says, I'm going to focus on this. I can focus on life or I can focus on death. My choice. I chose to focus on that. I reached out to a gentleman who I knew as a videographer and asked if he would film this. I wanted to give the book a good promotion for online. And that man that done the videography for me that day is now my husband. So you see, out of the choices that we make, imagine if I had been just so buried myself in grief, buried myself, and you could easily do it. And I don't begrudge anyone that has that. But I made the choice to lift the phone, and it was scary too, because his clientele were very, high end, professional. And I was like, who, me? But I made the choice, and we're married today. So it really is amazing how life really shows up as you, but you have to have courage, have to have a belief in yourself, have to have drive, have to be willing to, no matter what adversities are put to you, there can be no obstacle or undesirable circumstance to the great mind of God, which is in me, around me, and serves me now. And I hear that in my ear when something comes upon me that looks like a challenge.
I love that story. It's such a beautiful story, especially the way you told the story, that I thought that his clientele was high up and I went for it anyways, and it completely turned my life around. And these are the little moments where we would be having self-doubt, but when we go and do it anyways, things can transform. And even in my own life, I have seen this. Whenever I have this moment, I'm not supposed to be here, and I go and do it anyways. And so many things just start to flow out of that one interaction, out of that one step that we can take. So I would like to ask you on that, out of your 3 books, is there any particular messages which you have in your books that could transform our viewers' lives?
I think the underlying message in all of them is love of self. You are life. Life is showing up as you. You might not believe it. You might choose to play the victim and think it's everybody else's fault or the world's fault. But you're the one that holds the power. You're part of it. It's a bit like, I use the ocean. We're part of it. We're a droplet in it. I'm not at all, but I'm part of it. And it's the same, I think, of this divine universal energy. It's not separate from me. I am part of it, but I'm also here to experience life as the human. So I'm going to have these doubts, fears, overthinking, anything like that. I am part of that. And if I can tap into that, if I believe that, if I can change my thoughts and words and actions, life does start changing. So the underlying message throughout the 3 books is about self-love. If I can love me first, it's easy to love life. If I accept me, I don't fear others judging me. If I let go of judgments on myself, it's no concern of me what others think of me. So if we work on me, and it's not being selfish, that's what it's all about. Life starts to change.
I love that. That is one of my values as well, because I feel it is so important for us to work on ourselves first, even when we are dealing with other people, we are dealing with our business. How can we make ourselves the priority to focus on our routine, to make sure that we work on ourselves, because then everything else will start to change. So I absolutely admire that. And also the fact that you mentioned that you just went for it. You had 3 books to write. You just went and you wrote the books and you just kept creating. You didn't stop. So talk to me a little bit about your retreats and how do they work? What is the magic that you create with the people that attend the retreats?
Oh. Well, whenever we say we can create heaven on earth, this area that we have chosen to live in, or that perhaps found us it's heaven on earth for us. And there's the magic there too. What we had in our mind, what we originally set out to look for in Spain, it showed up, but then something went wrong with the plans as we saw it wrong. So that fell to the wayside. And it's amazing what does show up for you. One of the first days we went out for a walk here, I met a guy out walking his dog. And I asked, oh, so what do you do? And he says, I'm a coach and a yoga instructor. I was like, yes, there's my man there. I walked down, 10 minutes walk less down there, and lovely, beautiful self-catering accommodation going, yes, there's the place. There's the place for my retreats. So it's amazing because originally we said I need a 6-bedroom house to facilitate the retreats. The 6-bedroom house didn't show up, but this happened, and for a much better. So now I have my space, the clients have their space. At the moment, I'm only taking out 3 people at the moment because I don't know, I just feel hugely about the personal touch. I love that people also get to share time here at my home, because in Ireland it's a huge thing, and I'm sure many other countries, as is in Spain, family, where you get to sit around the table. I don't want it to be the hotel feel, clinical, cold. You're part of my home. When you come here too, you're part of my family. So that part of whether women are traveling by themselves, have that fear of traveling by themselves, we can eliminate that easily. You're collected from the airport and taken for the 4 nights, the stay of the duration. It's such a special place here. Actually, here reminds us of Ireland many years ago, the west of Ireland many years ago. I think sometimes in Ireland, things have got a bit quick. People are very busy. People haven't time. So here, you really get to detach. Here, you're really in the heart of real Spain. So this retreat, I think, again, the same thing. Whoever's meant to be on it will be on it. Whoever's not, they won't. And it brings you a groundedness. There's a peace. Actually, you get to say a wee bit more. Hold on a wee minute. What is success to me? What is peace to me? What is love to me? What is me to me? What is time? And those are the things, without force, on the ladies come out here to say, listen, stop being the martyr of putting yourself last. Stop blaming others for you don't have time for yourself. Perhaps this is the place where you think, I'm doing this for me. And that's the ladies I love coming out here. I'm doing this one for me. I'm like, great, come on.
I love that, because you mentioned that there is a particular detachment that happens when you ask yourself those questions. What is success to me? What is love to me? What is time to me? It is important for us to reflect on those questions on a daily basis so that we can show up powerfully for all the things around us, for ourselves, for our clients, every single day. Is there any questions or is there any reflective practice which you be doing on a daily basis that helps you grow as a coach, as well as a person, as a wife? Is there any particular prompts that you would be using or any particular practice that you would be having in your day?
Well, we have 3 mornings each, or 3 mornings per week. I have a group of Purple Roses. It's actually 4 years today old. It's his birthday today. So 3 mornings from the week, I have a group of ladies, and they're on at 6:30 in the morning, UK Irish time, 7:30 for myself here. So we always set aside time there, meditation always on a Tuesday morning. And for me, I talk the ladies through the meditation, but for me, I get to connect to that. I call it home. For me, it's home. That feeling. I think home is a feeling for people. You just, those, I don't know, I find it difficult to put that into word. It's very important for me to remember to connect to home, to connect to that space. On a Wednesday morning, we also practice gratitude. So gratitude, if you're asking, is a daily thing. Gratitude before we go to sleep at night. Find what is we have been grateful for the things that have yet to show up also. Just making time for one another. And sometimes it's easy to forget that as well, because we come out to Spain and people come out to have an easier life, but I still love my work, but it's to remember also to remember also, don't get so stuck into your work and involved in your work that you have not time for your husband. So we did make about at least once a week, we're heading away off to explore the rest of Spain. But it's important even to go for a walk, to play a bit of badminton, to have time together, because you have to ask yourself too, when you're doing something, why is it that you're doing it? And don't forget and take for granted that, things will always be there. Relationships will always be there, because you can get easily disconnected, as if we don't meditate. For me, I can easily get disconnected. So therefore, my mind, the ego part of me, would just run riot. It'll take control. It'll tell me what to worry about, what's wrong, what I'm not having, what's missing. So those things are important for myself. And for me, it's just a conversation. Guide me, lead me. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm open. What would you like me to know? Where would you guide me to today? Or just to offload if there is something troubling me. To say, look, I'm handing this over. I'm done carrying this. I am done. I'm handing it over. You resolve it for the highest good of all concerned. Not just my way, but for the highest good of all concerned. So those things. And if I forget, if I stop doing, by God, my body will certainly tell me. My mind will tell me. Things that's happening outside of my life will remind me, hello, guess where you're going?
I love that, because you mentioned that it's important to continue doing this practice, because when we stop, we can get disconnected from our bodies. And the more we do this reflective practice, the more we are guided to where we want to be. And also recognizing the importance of gratitude, recognizing the importance of already having what you once wanted to have. Because we can get a tendency of, okay, once we get something, what's next? And we can be in that state almost forever. So the more we acknowledge already having what we wanted, the more we are putting ourselves in a position of achieving all the goals that we want to have.
It's fun. It's fun, doing us. If we want to attract things, try and stay as joyous or happy. Enjoy what it is that you're doing, because that's the journey, isn't it? I think we all have, or people have, an expectation of when I get there, when I get there, then things will be. And absolutely wrong way to go about it. For even when we were coming here, so 2023, actually, we bought the house a year ago here. And Jim wasn't in my life at that stage. And I think when my kids have been over here, I'll say, are you surprised now? And they said, nope, because you always said to us, you'll be in Spain by your 50th birthday. So you've talked about it long enough. They're not surprised that the things showed about. But even then, I thought, so for anyone, I said, well, what is this manifesting thing to how do I act as though it's already happened? Well, I started taking Spanish lessons. I thought, right, if I'm going to live in Spain, when I go to live in Spain, what's important to me? Number one, I would like to learn the language, because I do want to be involved with the Spanish community, not just English speaking people. Number two, I would like to be driving over there. Okay, you got to learn now how to drive on the opposite side of the road. Number three, well, you don't want to be sitting about twiddling your thumbs, and you also need an income, so you need to have an online business. So, and what else would you like to do, Evelyn? Well, I would like to host retreats out there. So this, I'm talking, was about 4 years ago. So I had put into plan all of those things, what I am in control of, what I could do. I started taking Spanish lessons. Now I can, not fluently, but now I can have conversation with people that say, oh, muy rápido. And so I'm real chuffed that a Spanish person thinks that I'm coming on greatly with my Spanish. Number two, to drive over here, well, and to have retreats. I went to Tenerife. I sussed out different locations, and I had a retreat in Tenerife. I took 7 ladies over for a week. I learned a lot from that. And I was able to learn how to drive over there. Now, that was scary. It was scary, but I thought I need to push myself through this fear, because nobody's going to do it for me. And also to create an online business. because I had been doing my dancing beforehand, COVID came in, as we see, as things that weren't great, not great. So all that stopped. And you're like, right, everything has stopped. Now, what am I to do? And as a single parent of the 3 kids, and thinking, cranky, what do I do? At that stage, I had 2 of the books written. I thought, you have boxes of books here. And there probably was a fear of going online myself. What will people think? That fear was there. But I thought, no, you got to do this. Stop making this about you. You're making this about you. You're making, people will think. I said, stop making it about you. Make it about other people. And then you get out of your own road. So the online business then was also created, more so. I was online, but more so. So the house shows up. I can speak Spanish. I can easily drive on it. So this is when you ask me how, when you say, Evelyn, these things are easy. Well, because I had the preparation done. I had all the preparation done. I had the work done. And that's how it showed up. And it's the same. I don't want to go on, but it was the same as when myself and Jim decided we were going to move in together, even in Ireland. And we says, right, what type of house would you like? Oh, we went into the whole thing. I don't know if he was getting what I was talking about. I says, humor me. What's our views like? Internet, what's important to us? How far are we off the main road? How far are we off the town? Throw it all out there. And so we described the house that we wanted, but then we also acted as though the wish was fulfilled. We went out and we bought the bed. We bought our bed, and the woman at the shop asked me, where was it going? What's the address? And I says, if I was to tell you the house is still in the universe, would you believe me? And she says, Evelyn, I follow your work, so I know what you're talking about. So the bed was bought. We bought saucepans, we bought plates, we bought ready for the move. The house had yet to show up, but we were acting as though the wish was fulfilled. One night I checked on the internet and the perfect house showed up. And I contacted Jim. And as it turned out, the estate agent was a friend of Jim's. There were, I think, 20 people in before us. But because the man knew Jim, we got to see it first. And then the house was ours. So you see, these things happen, but you have to believe it'll show up. I just have to be patient. Act as though the wish is fulfilled. And clients that I have worked with in the past that I had written about in the book, the first book, A Life You Want, like a young woman lived in her family home. Every time she says, I see a house, I might bid, it's overpriced. I says, well, start packing up your stuff, start boxing up your stuff, start getting ready for the move. But what she did do. The house came about, again, the same thing. So that's what a lot of people are not doing. They are not acting as though the wish is fulfilled. They're waiting on it to show up, and then I'll do it. I'll wait till I go to Spain, then I'll learn Spanish. Wrong way.
I agree with you on this. This is powerful. And this is something I also work on with my clients. And we also had a workshop which was very aligned to this. It was about vision boarding. And when you are creating your vision, you also have to ask yourself, who is it that I need to become to fulfill that vision? Who is it that I need to become? What are the beliefs that I have? How do I dress? How do I show up? How do I carry myself in the world? And just the way you mentioned that you just started buying the items and the house showed up because you were already prepared and you were ready to just move in. And I find that very beautiful because the more we prepare ourselves for the future that we want to have, the more opportunities and synchronicities would start showing up in our world and things would start moving. So I find that beautiful. But is there any piece of advice which you would have, which would be something which our viewers can start doing now to help to kind of work towards transformation that they would want to achieve?
Okay.
Any last piece of advice?
Just remember this, that everything in life, it's only an experience. That's all it is. What we're doing now, this is an experience, and this too shall pass. This is going to be over very soon. There'll be a recording of it, but this actual experience of it happening now is going to pass. Everything that you wish for or desire for or want for in your life is simply an experience. So you are deserving of it if you believe it. Why not? Why not have that experience? You're never going to take anything with you. Stop comparing yourselves to other people. Invest. And this is what a lot of people are not doing. They're afraid of investing. Invest in yourself, because that's what has helped me also. And find gratitude. Find gratitude. Be mindful of your words. And your life is reflecting back to you what is taking place within you. Busy life, busy head. Lack of things that you think in your life, it's a lack mindset. But there has to be consistency also in your life. So it's not good to, I'll buy Evelyn's books today and read Evelyn's books. If you're not consistent every day, oh my gosh, every day, because if I stop doing what I'm doing, I'm going to stop receiving what I wish to receive in life. And that's what happens sometimes with people. They get what they want, and then they stop doing the work. And I've had this before, phone calls from people saying, Evelyn, I have everything that I wanted to achieve in my life, but how come I am feeling the same way I felt without them? Remember this, the outside is not going to bring it to you. You can bring it to yourself in this moment of time. You can bring that feeling that you want. And at the end of the day, anything that you do wish for in your life, all that it's going to do is bring you a feeling. That's it. And if you can create that feeling now, go to the feeling. That's a good, quick way to get there.
I completely agree with you on this, because there's a book called Ask and It Is Given, and it also taps into the feeling of the experience that we want to create. But in this podcast, we have covered so many things that we can do. We can take those baby steps. We can really tap into the feeling part of the experience. And it is sometimes very difficult to accept and detach ourselves from the experience, because we know that it is an experience and everything is going to come to an end and there are new things that are going to come. But sometimes it's very difficult to actually accept that it is an experience and detach ourselves from the things that we want. But the more we understand the fact that we can get it if we just shift our beliefs around it and shift our beliefs about ourselves, the more we would be able to release that control and step into our desires. So I find that beautiful.
Yeah, it's lovely. Another thing is, really, if anyone, whoever's listening to this, if you're sitting today and you can point a finger of blame to someone or something that your life is the way it is, this is victim mentality. And I understand there's lots of what we see as bad things happen to people in life. But we have to take a wee look at it ourselves. And you'll have all of the fears of the day, won't have enough money, don't have enough education, don't know the technology, and that'll keep you where you're at. But if you're brave enough to take the step forward, say, why not? Why not? That's what divides people. That's what I do believe what divides people. And we'll see as well, what you'll see plenty as well, when you were asking earlier on about control, for people to trust in their own intuition. Because if you're led to fear, you'll be easily controlled. Easily controlled. People will sell you things. And that pains me. If there's something that hurts me when I watch people, and it hurts me to see that people can manipulate others into selling, into buying, into having. But, at the end of the day, everybody's journey is their own. Trust your own intuition. You have all the ingredients you need, and just maybe perhaps all you need is a coach, is to be surrounded by the right people and to get to where it is that you want to go. And even if you don't know where you want to go, just to have a better life. And once the end, I'm going to finish on this. The end goal, I believe, for everyone is an inner peace. An inner peace does not mean boredom. It does not mean contentment. It doesn't. That peace, when you think everything's perfect, everything is perfect. And for us, when we came here, I see how perfect things have become, because the ingredients of water, what we take for granted, and I see the people here where they would require, it would be nice for them to have more water. I see people that have less give more. I see that people have no greed, and that humbles me. And that to me is huge success and kindness. And I'm glad that we are here. And I think but again, life shows up as you. So thank you very much.
I love that. That's so beautiful, because you did mention the inner peace. Inner peace is so important, and I absolutely loved our conversation today. I felt that I learned a lot myself as well, even though I practically know the theory and I really believe in this work. There's always something new that I learn with each conversation that I have. So this was a very powerful conversation, and thank you so much for your time. And I hope that this conversation can benefit anybody who is watching this. I will link all the books Evelyn has written as well in the description. So if you would like to have a look, you can just have a look at her website.